Inside the Birds is back. What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff, Mosher, Adam Caplan, and we got Andrew DiCecco with us. So you know this must be a very important ITB. Fellas, start your engines. Week 1 is actually here. The Eagles will play and open the season Thursday night against the Cowboys at the Link in the season opener, and that's just a couple of days away. So we got some intel on the roster moves that we're going to go through. And then we're going to take our best stab at projecting the 2025 NFL season. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I know, Andrew, you're on your 30th cup of coffee. I can tell you're ready to go. You're excited. The season's
I got a long day ahead of me.
Yeah, I know you do, my friend. The Eagles are not making it easy for anybody who covers the team. But hope all of our listeners had a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and away we go. Let's start with the first set of transactions here. So the Eagles put Willie Lampkin on IR. He had the ankle and the knee. Now, when they claimed him off waivers, he had already been injured with the knee and the ankle, and so he's going to go on IR. And it sounds like, fellas, he'll be on IR. It sounds like he needs some development anyway, so we'll see how long he's going to be out, but he will get the quote-unquote mental reps that an undrafted rookie needs. And, look, the bottom line is the Eagles are going to go into week 1 in a situation that they've always tried to talk about not really wanting to be in, which is having no true backup center. It's going to have to be Adam Landon Dickerson until otherwise.
Well, I mean, do they think Drew Kendall's ready? Drew Kendall will be the guy. We'll know, week 1, or we'll see if Kendall's active. You would think he would be, because when you look at it, I know Toth could play center, but come on. I mean, Kendall is really a center. And you got Dickerson. Yes, Dickerson's put in the emergency backup center, but man, he's coming off this knee injury and the meniscus trim procedure. And we'll get into some of the outstanding issues with this football team, but that left guard thing, man, it's still a little sticky.
Yeah, and of course, part of their maneuver, they had the open spot. They actually signed Kenyon Green to the 53. They clearly wanted to try to continue to develop him, Andrew. He didn't have the greatest camp. He is not someone who can snap the ball either. So even if he's active on game day, you would think, which I think we'll see. I doubt it. But if he's active on game day as the 8th offensive lineman, I would think that would be instead of Kendall, and not because you're going to have Pryor and you're going to have the tackle, Fred Johnson.
Yeah.
Right. If Kenyon Green's your 8th, because you usually have 8 active on game day, then they won't have that true backup center.
Yeah, I mean, he's played in 27 games, 23 starts in his career, so it gives you a little bit more of a baseline level of production or understanding of what he can do. So, yeah, it would make some sense.
Yeah, we'll see. Adam, to the point we were making, I think Kendall had a nice camp, and he's a natural center, but I just wonder if they're not looking to go into the season opener with a rookie active among the backup offensive linemen, because he's never
simple.
played.
If they think he's ready, he's the backup center. It's strictly, is he ready or not? And
right, we'll find out.
That Bengal game, he really looked good.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it's a big step to be the guy. I mean, to be the backup center with Juergen's injury history. Stout's got to think it's going to be up to him. If he thinks he's ready, that's what happens. We'll see.
There you go. All right, the Eagles also made a flurry of moves over Labor Day weekend. They signed Britton Covey, bringing him back, wide receiver / punt returner. He was with the Rams and didn't make it. Cornerback Ambry Thomas from the 49ers, because, Adam, the Eagles need to have former 49. I think he was the 3rd-round pick, too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because, that's the Eagles' motif, is they need 49ers who are drafted in the 3rd round. So they bring in Ambry Thomas. Marcus Epps, old friend at safety, comes back, and they sign a different offensive lineman than the one that was with them all spring and summer for the international exemption. His name is Luke Felix Fualalo. He is on the practice squad. Adam, what do we know about Ambry Thomas? I mean, I remember when he was a 49er, he would have some moments.
He started games in his career. He is not a nickel. He is a cornerback. A lot of injuries in his career. The one knock on him, for what I'm told, is needs to build his body up, just get stronger physically. But there's absolutely talent there to be a quality backup. Again, this guy was a 3rd-round pick. Once highly thought of with the 49ers, but then just very inconsistent. I mentioned the injuries, and this is his 4th team. He started with the Niners, then with the Colts after he was claimed off the Niners. And then he spent a little time there, failed their physical, went to the Vikings earlier this year, wasn't brought back, and now he signed with the Eagles practice squad. This is a decent signing because he needs to recharge his career. He turns 26 shortly, but this is a guy's got talent. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with the Eagles' lack of depth at corner. This is an interesting signing here.
Sort of feels like the defensive version of Danny Gray, like somebody who has talent and who was a third-round pick of the Niners. And, you know, if you can put him on your practice squad and develop him and he stays healthy, which Danny Gray unfortunately couldn't, but maybe you get something for next year. What is that, the third-round pick of the Niners the Eagles have had? There's Trey Sermon,
yep.
Ty Davis-Price.
Yep.
Danny Gray, he was a third-round pick, right, Andrew?
Yep.
Yeah. And now this guy. Now, Castro Fields, who's also a former 49er, was a
sixth-round pick. He was a sixth-round
pick. So he's not in the true fraternity.
No, he was released off he was waived with injury settlement. Yeah, but no, it is really weird. I don't know what their fascination with the Niners is.
Yeah, no, it is really interesting. All right, so they also made some practice squad moves after originally having Marshall on the practice squad, Terrace Marshall, then not. Then they bring him back to the practice squad. And, of course, our old friend Eli Ricks is off the practice squad. I think this is actually good for Eli. I think, you know, Andrew, you got to know him pretty well. You've mentioned that he is a pure cover corner. It might be a good opportunity for him to get with a different kind of defense that maybe plays a different style of D, where his skill set can be better seen and maybe evaluated.
Yeah, in my opinion, he belongs on a 53, just not this 53. There's not a fit for him, but he can absolutely play in this league, and not on special teams either. That's not his forte. I think there's a misconception that he was a special teamer. He tried to contribute in that area, but that's not really his forte. He's best served as a depth corner on the outside.
Yeah, in these cases, you usually look for the familiarity, right? New Orleans, Kellen Moore. Who's their defensive coordinator? Is it they bring
Brandon Staley,
right? But although that's not really a man press heavy defense, but you never know. I mean, you tend to see these kind of guys go from one team to an area where they're familiar with.
He's a Fangio guy, by the way, Staley.
He is.
I mean, in terms of scheme, yeah.
Yep. So at least Ricks would have experience within the scheme if they needed that.
Yep.
There's one last thing I wanted to discuss.
Covey and Epps too.
Covey, yeah. So Covey, is Covey the punt returner for the first 3 or so weeks here in your guys' mind?
They may want to see what they have on the roster first before they do that. Jahan Dotson can do it. They would probably prefer Cooper DeJean didn't do it, but I spoke to Britton Covey Sunday, spoke to Epps on Sunday, and both players are savvy additions. Britton Covey had other options. He could have went to most practice squads, chose to come back to Philadelphia, and said he was greeted with a big hug. He greeted Jalen Hurts with a big hug, and as he's talking about how much he loves Philadelphia, Dallas Goedert's walking past him and says, "We love you, Covey." So he's welcome back with open arms.
That is
interesting. Real quick, so what Andrew just said would tell me that if he's turning down other jobs, he's obviously going to be working. I mean, on the whether it's an activation. I don't know about getting on the 53 naturally. He's big sign off of it to the Eagles 53, but that would tell me early on he's got a real shot to be the punt returner. That's interesting.
He did say all the way up until the final, 4:00, he thought that he was convinced that he was going to make Rams.
So they let him really? So they let him know at the last minute. Jeez. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. All right. All right. So that's a look at the 53 and the transactions and things. And we'll see. We'll see at the season opener who gets the elevations and how this thing starts to look. Let's talk a little bit in a second about the remaining issues left as the Eagles are practicing this week in preparation for that season opener against Dallas. They're going to unfurl the championship banner. It's going to be a great time. But after that, it's 0-0, and everybody starts off with the same record, and away we go. And, of course, Dallas and their new look without Micah Parsons just adds to the intrigue of the season opener. So we'll talk about that in a second. First, hey, you guys remember that one guy who's in the group chat who hits a 5-leg parlay in week 1 and then doesn't shut up about it for the rest of the season? Is that you guys? I'm sure that's you, right? If one of you hits a 5-leg parlay, I know I'm going to have to hear about it from either of you all season long. But you know what? That's just called jealousy and envy, because that guy who hits the 5-leg parlay week 1, it could be any one of us. It could be any one of our great viewers or listeners, and we would want to be just like them. And guess who makes that easy? My bookie. My bookie makes it stupid easy to get in on the action, whether it's college ball, the NFL, super contests, survivor pools, you name it. All the spreads, player props, and in-game lines you could want are all under my roof with my bookie. And if you're new to my bookie, use our promo code. It's the Birds, all one word, THEBIRDS, the Birds, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. So make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. That's right, you just get it right back, your bet back bonus token. There is no better time to jump in and no better place to play. Football is back, and let's make some money with my bookie. All right. Some remaining issues as the Eagles go into the season opener. I kind of go back and forth on whether or not I feel like edge depth is a real concern, only because, as I've told you guys, I think Ojulari did not have anything great in camp, but outside of that second preseason game. But I always see him as a back of the baseball card type guy. He's going to have his pressure stats, his sacks, his disruption. He's also going to miss a few games from injury. So I think he'll be Azeez Ojulari. It's Uche is the one I'm wondering, because he flashed in camp and then he didn't, and then he flashed and then he didn't. I don't know if they have enough, and I'm concerned about Nolan Smith already nursing a shoulder injury and only playing one side of the edge. So as I woke up this morning, I said, yeah, I'm concerned about edge depth for this team.
I think that's a valid concern. I thought Josh Uche was pretty consistent throughout the summer as a rotational piece. Azeez Ojulari wasn't consistent enough, in my opinion, and he had a couple of good days up there to really convince that he was able to be that number 4 and give you quality snaps, right? And then the 5th player was Obo Okoronkwo, who has played quite a bit of football in his career, played with the Rams, played with the Texans, now with the and the Browns, and now with the Eagles. So that's an interesting player. Better pass rusher than Patrick Johnson, but Patrick Johnson gave you far more in terms of special teams play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Okoronkwo, I think might see the field on Thursday night, Adam. They were pretty happy with his development. So I don't know how many snaps he's going to play, but if you're not getting much out of the top 2 off the bench, Uche and Ojulari, or if you're not getting much from your starters, you might see Okoronkwo in there.
Yeah, I don't know that they need to dress 5 of them, but the issue is, look, they have plenty of guys. It's BG's gone, Sweat's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be that guy? We know what Nolan Smith can do. Greg Cosell talked on our show that dropped Monday morning.
Yep. He
felt pretty good about him. Now, as you brought up, the shoulder thing that Vic Fangio brought up, like, oh, wow, it's interesting. We didn't know about that. That was a problem. Alex Hunt, as much as we've been on him since day one, he's not a developed pass rusher yet. We just don't know. You could love the upside. Until he's done it, he hasn't done it. I'm just being real here, man. This is our job. We're not cheerleaders here.
Right.
So Uche is an interesting player. I know the past 2 seasons he's done nothing. His quicks, he gets off the ball. He's just not big enough.
Right.
He's got, and Azeez Ojulari, I know that in our reporting, they released 3 teams in free agency on him, and the Eagles signed him. From what our understanding was, that the Eagles put the most guaranteed money. It wasn't very much, though. It's only $3 million. But I don't know, man. I mean, you talk about it. He's always done it. We'll have to see. And Obo, listen, we could say what we want about Obo. Why does he keep moving on? He's on his 4th team. He's an edge rusher.
Right.
And he's 30 years old. So there are questions. It's not that they don't have people. They're pretty significant questions here. What their edge is going to look like, quite frankly.
Yeah, and to Adam's point, it stems beyond the depth pieces, right? There's still questions about the starters. They're intriguing players, but Nolan Smith came on in November and finished really strong. Alex Hunt flashed, but you see what they're able to do sample size. Yeah, naturally there are going to be questions.
Yeah, this is a flipped version of what the Eagles usually look like on the edges. They usually have a couple of vets or proven players on the edge, and then a young developmental guy to add into the mix. And now they've got 2 young developmental guys starting, and then they're trying to fortify that with some backups, one of which who hasn't done much in a few years, the other which, Azeez Ojulari, is very good when he plays, but he's constantly injured. and then we'll see what Okoronkwo can add.
One thing Thursday night to look for is Jalix Hunt on the field in nickel. Where does he come off? Because that's where, you got to have guys who can get to the passer. Obo can do it if he's active. Ojulari has done it in the past for sure. Mm-hmm. He's had this guy when he's right. He's very unique with his length, and Uche can do it. So that's one of the things I look at. We'll talk more about this in our pregame show, but that's one of the things I'm looking for is Hunt and every down players. He just run down. Like, how do they use them? I'm curious on there.
And by the way, Obo could be active because he has played special teams before. So if they want to go heavy edge, concern there, Geoff, you mentioned, Nolan with the one side. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Yeah, and then the fifth edge used to be Patrick Johnson, and he was a big special teamer. So that's good that Okoronkwo can play there. As you mentioned, probably not going to make the same impact. And you know what? A lot of the guys who were really good on special teams may not be playing there as much this year, although Ben Van Sumeren will be back. Keely Ringo will clearly be a special teamer.
Will Shipley. Yep.
Will Shipley. But they had a couple of guys last year who are probably playing bigger roles this year that might not be able to occupy. Jalix Hunt was a big part of their special teams last year early on, and then now so maybe probably not as much. So we'll see. We will see. Corner. You can't have Pro Bowl corners it's last year was a really nice year to be able to have a first-round pick in Quinyon Mitchell play as well as he did, and a veteran like Slay. You're not going to have that every year. To have Adoree Jackson, and we'll just see how Jacorian Bennett develops. I'm not – I know some people are really concerned about this spot. If the pass rush is there, I'm not as concerned. If it's not there, then I think that there's some reason to be concerned. But I don't know. It's not like you're going to see the quarterback throw 20 times in one direction at that spot. I do have some faith, Adam, and Vic Fangio figuring out some ways to scheme around a so-called deficiency at one area.
Sure. Left corner right now, Adoree Jackson is the first guy up. At some point, we're probably going to see Bennett in there. Now, what week it is, nobody knows. Bennett, much younger. I know Greg Cosell loved his tape, Maryland tape. He liked his Raiders tape. It's just he's had both shoulders have had issues, but he said when he got here, he feels great. He's they're fine. The shoulders are fine. Now, does he run to the 4.3? I don't know about that. The tape from someone told me he runs. The guy can run, but he's 4.3 is elite speed.
Yeah.
Bottom line, there's some talent here. Now, here's the thing. When they go, if we assume they'll play some dime, we'll see how they do that. Who's out there? Whether it's Mac McWilliams, Bennett, whoever else here, we'll see how they do that. But the other one we should talk about, I think is important because Makuba's just getting back from his hamstring injury. If Vic thinks he's ready, he's playing. And then the question is, when does he take the job from Brown? But who's the fourth safety? Because McCollum's gone. To me, it's Marcus Epps. If they need Marcus Epps to dress, Andrew, that'll be interesting to see if he dresses Thursday. He's on the practice squad.
Yeah, before they signed Kenyon Green to the 53, for me, I thought it was going to be Epps. I thought that would make the most sense. Veteran player, you're light on safeties. It would eliminate need to deploy Cooper DeJean there in a pinch. But, yeah, that would make some sense. And Epps and I would say Covey perhaps for punt returner would be the two elevations that would make sense. Yeah, and remember,
they are kind of getting away with Cooper DeJean being the fourth safety where you have DeJean, Blankenship, Makuba, and Brown. Right. And Brown can play special teams pretty well. So it'll be interesting to see if Vic thinks Makuba with his limited practice time is ready to go out there and at least play in some sub packages, which takes some mileage off Brown and allows him to function on special teams.
Right.
Excuse me.
It's a good point.
All right. So that is it. That's what we've looked at. Those are just some of the remaining issues going into the season opener. We'll see. We'll get the injury reports will start to come out this week, and we'll get a clearer idea of how the Eagles are from a health standpoint going into the season opener. Let's get to everybody's favorite stuff, our picks for the 2025 NFL season. We'll do our divisional picks, conference picks, and our Super Bowl picks. Before we do it, you got to hear a word from our great friends at Sky Motor Cars.
Sky Motor Cars in Westchester is a different sort of dealership. All it takes is one look at their Highline pre-owned vehicles that people all over the country want and need. Owner Brett Schulter, make sure you don't spend a dime of your money before you purchase the car. Sky Motor Cars allows you to make all the decisions regarding your next vehicle. At Sky Motor Cars, you never have to spend more than necessary. Visit SkyMotorCars.com today or call 610-918-7225.
All right, if you stop into Sky Motor Cars, make sure you tell them Adam, Geoff, and Andrew sent you. You will get a great deal, great customer service, great inventory. It is the best car shopping experience. Don't just take it from us. Plenty of Eagles, current and past, do work with Brett Shoulder and Sky Motor Cars. You'll see him driving around a nice little car that they got from Sky Motor Cars. So that's SkyMotorCars.com, or go out there in Westchester, PA, and visit them yourself. All right. The toughest thing about doing the NFL preview every year is that, there's that sort of rule of thumb is that there's going to be about 20 to 25% of playoff teams that weren't playoff teams the year before. And this year was tough for me because I feel like a lot of teams that were good last year are still chalked to be good this year. But away we go. Let's get with the NFC. Adam, start with you. Your division winners in the NFC.
All right, we're going to go NFC West first. Talk about a wide open division. Oh, boy. This one, believe it or not, was the toughest because I know the Niners have very slight favorite. Everyone's favorite team, it seems to be the Rams to win the division. Mm-hmm. Stafford's back right now is okay. I'm going to pick the Rams. I mean, this one was tough, man. And Seattle is sort of like we're also looking for a team, every year someone said, who's the team that's going to come out of nowhere? I think Seattle didn't make it last year. They were 10-7. They didn't get a wild card. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they get in the playoffs. But I'll go with the Rams.
All right. Rams are your NFC West team. Andrew, who's your NFC West team?
The Rams. I thought for a second about the 49ers. They have a pretty favorable schedule, but I really like this Rams team, particularly on the defensive side. A lot of young pieces there.
Yeah, I went with the Rams as well. The Matthew Stafford back injury thing really made me think about it. And I got to be honest with you, I gave every single NFC West team a consideration because the division was pretty tight last year. And I think the Cardinals made some upgrades. I don't trust them, but they made some upgrades to sign Josh Sweat. They're coming together a little bit. I just don't think they have enough offensive firepower. And like you, Adam, I considered year 2 of Mike McDonald in Seattle and him starting to reshape that roster the way he sees it. And I think Clint Kubiak's their OC now. And yep. I can see it. I can see any one of those 4 teams, but I went with the Rams as well. All right. Next division, NFC North. That's the hot one. Who wins the NFC North?
This is one I'm going to stick with the team, and as much as I can't stand the Packers, just because they always let me down in the playoffs when I'm picking them. Before the trade for Parsons, I was going to pick them anyway. I'm very concerned about the Lions' pass rush and their cornerback group. They're elite at safety, good at backer. They got Hutchinson back. They'll get Lee McNeil back, so there's some positives. And their offense should be good. But, man, remember, they got 2 new coordinators. I know the Eagles have done this. They have 2 new coordinators, and they win Super Bowl. Well, one of them is Vic Fangio, and the other guy's Kellen Moore. I mean, Kellen Moore's experienced, but Vic is super experienced. So that Kelvin Shepard, I remember him as a player, as a linebacker, very smart guy. He's going to call the defense for the first time. And John Morton, who called the plays years ago with the Jets, it didn't go too well. That worries me. You add it all up, I'm going to stick with the Packers, who are going to win the NFC North.
Andrew?
Before the Parsons trade, I was teetering between the Lions and the Packers, but that trade puts the Packers over the top. I'm going Green Bay.
Yeah, I was actually in Green Bay before the Parsons trade, so the Parsons trade only made it. I just think that the Lions are going to take a little bit of a step back, losing both coordinators. However, I still think that they're going to be really formidable in the playoffs. I have them later in the wild card, but Packers win the NFC North for me as well. NFC South. Any intrigue here? Andrew?
No, I'm going with the Bucks.
Okay.
I'm going with the Bucks. I think that they're kind of a sleeper team that could quietly make some noise this year. That's one of those teams that I think people should be paying more attention to.
Very interesting. So always have the Eagles number. Adam, South?
This one's a little bit tighter because I like Terry Fontenot, the job that he's done in terms of adding talent. He knew that their edge rush was pathetic last season, so he drafted 2 guys in the first round. They traded up for James Pierce. I think it's tight. I'm going to pick the Bucks, but one thing is Tristan Wirfs' injury Andy Heck's son, you might remember Andy Heck, who's the Chiefs offensive line coach. His son, Charlie, is going to be their fill-in left tackle. Chris Godwin won't be ready for a bit. Emeka Buka will replace him in the slot. It's tight. It's really tight. It's first year for Michael Penix. Baker Mayfield played out of his mind last season. What a story he's been. Very slightly into the Bucs.
Well, you had me halfway there. I went with the Falcons because I had to go with a team that's going to be new to the playoffs. Sure. I think that they are one of those teams on the rise. You're right. They addressed their pass rush issues, and I do think the Bucs losing their offensive coordinator a second straight year, this will be their third offense coordinator in 3 years. And their defense isn't great. You know, Todd Bowles has to scheme it up every single week. So I'm seeing a little regression from the Bucs, and I had the Falcons win the division. So those are the three NFC divisions. Now let's get to the East. I'll start with you, Adam. Who wins the NFC East?
Well, everybody knows because we've talked about it 500 times in our 8 seasons. No one's won this division back-to-back since 2004. It's ridiculous. How is that possible? Anyway.
I have no idea.
But I know, it's funny because people heard me on Football at 4. They roasted me. They're like, you idiot. How could you possibly pick Washington? Because Eagle fans, the ones who are sometimes not in touch with reality, that what they're going to do is they're going to pick apart Washington any way they can and just ignore the Eagles' issues on defense. They have at least 5 new starters. We just told you about the issues are. The big thing for me is the Eagles' pass rush. I would be concerned about that other corner spot. Because of that, I'm picking Washington, guys. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of why in 20 seconds here. If Washington did not address their offensive line problem, I don't know how the hell they did it last season. Well, the smoke and mirrors are gone. Tunsil left. Connolly at right. He's going to start very shortly. Biotis is an okay center. They're going to play Brandon Coleman inside because he's shorter. And now Allegretti's a backup. George Fan, who could play backup right, or he could play right or left tackle. Not that Chris Paul, this Chris Paul. Who they've developed. I'll tell you what, Debo, I know he's had a big injury history. He looks good. Watch out for fantasy in your last round if you're drafting this week. Jalen Lane, who's a power slot. He looked really good when I was there. McLaurin's back. Debo looked great. He's ready in this Bill Krosky merit. Corey's explosive. I like it. The one issue that they have, which is why they're not winning a Super Bowl, where's their pass rush? That's the one issue I have with them. But they're going to win this division.
Yeah. All right. So you got the Commanders. Who'd you got, Andrew?
I'm going with the Eagles here. Eagles have a top-heavy roster, but they have a lot of star power, and I think that they're going to use their experience from last season and continue to build and move this thing forward.
All right. I went the Adam route. I went with the Commanders also, just because of the history. 20 years. For whatever reason, I do think the Eagles stayed generally healthy. They didn't lose Nakobe Dean last year until the playoffs, so he played the entire regular season. They lost Dallas Goedert. They were able to overcome that. He was able to come back. Really, their injuries were Goedert and Brandon Graham, and then in the playoffs it was Nakobe. I don't know if they're going to be that healthy this time around, and they have far more depth questions. So I went with the Commanders to win it. But sometimes people don't wait until the end, because just because you get into the wild card round doesn't mean you can't go further than teams that won the division. And that'll be a little prelude to what we got coming up. So what's the rest of the playoffs for you, Adam, NFC?
Tell you what, though, if some of these backup edges for the Eagles, like if Okonkwo shows that he's got something, because the issue is you can't look. You're going to want to throw opposite Mitchell as much as you can. And as you said earlier, that if they could get the pass rush, they'll be okay. I just don't know if they could do that. So, yeah, who do I have doing it in terms of getting to the Super Bowl, or what was your question?
Oh, yeah, give us your NFC playoff picture now that you've give us your 3 wild cards and then how it shakes out.
So 3 wild cards: Eagles, Lions. Oh boy, the Vikings.
Oh, nice.
Vikings.
I like that.
The Vikings.
Okay.
I know J.J. McCarthy hasn't started an NFL game in regular season. They're loaded when they get Addison back. And then the division winners, we just gave them out. So that's a 7. Yeah. I gave you my 3.
So if you have the 4 division winners that you said, and then Eagles, Lions, Vikings, you have all of the playoff teams from last year.
I know I'm going to be wrong.
You major faux pas.
Let me ask you a question. Does anyone see anyone like? Well, no, actually, I want to put Seattle in there. I just can't just The problem with Seattle is I can't justify them over. Some people might say, "Oh, you could definitely put them in over Minnesota." I wouldn't disagree with you.
Right.
Minnesota's got a better team.
Right.
Seattle's going to push them. Oh man, I wish I could put Seattle in over Minnesota.
How many people you think last year at this time doing their thing said the problem with Minnesota is I can't just justify a Sam Darnold team.
Exactly.
And then they wind up winning the division.
Sam Darnold was so pathetically bad before he got to Minnesota. And Kevin O'Connell's an amazing coach.
Yes.
Coaching matters, folks. That was incredible.
All right. So unless you're going to revise, I'm going to hold you to those.
I'll hold it.
7. Andrew, who are your 3 wild cards?
Commanders, Lions, Seahawks.
Commanders, Lions.
Seattle. Oh, yeah. Good for you, man.
All right. So in your case, you have one team to make the NFC playoffs that didn't make it last year because everybody else made it, correct?
Yeah.
In your division winner.
Yep.
See, that's where you just fall short, guys. You got to go and stick your neck out there and put a team like the Falcons winning the division.
You put Seattle in. That's good.
That is true. That's true. So mine were the Eagles, 49ers, and Lions. So I have 2 teams, the Falcons and the 49ers, making the playoffs this year that didn't last year. So I have this very odd scenario where all the wild card teams win. I have the Lions upsetting the Commanders in the 7-2 game, the Niners beating the Falcons in the 6-3, and the Eagles beating the Rams in the 5-4. And that creates a Final Four. I'll just give it to you. I have the Lions then beating the Packers and the Eagles beating the Eagles beat the Rams.
Well, let's just get to who do you have coming out of the NFC?
I have the Lions beating the Eagles in the NFC Championship game.
Ooh, man, that would be awesome. It'd be an awesome game, by the way.
Who's your guys' NFC? It would be. It should have been the game last year, but we didn't get that. So
they got housed by Washington.
Who do you have this year?
Green Bay beating the Eagles in the NFC title game.
Packers over Eagles for Andrew. Okay, all right, and Adam.
I'm going to take in the NFC Championship game. I'm going to put Green Bay and Philly.
Green Bay, Philly, and who wins?
Eagles.
Wow.
Wild card gets there. You know why? Because this is my thinking. It could look bad early with her pass rush. It could. This is what the trade deadline's about. Howie is going to look at it. If it goes like we think it's going to go in the first half, it's going to be shaky with the pass rush in the corner, opposite Mitchell. He's going to do something. He's going to get that guy. If it doesn't look right, he'll get someone at the trade deadline. Remember all those picks? I just feel like if he's not satisfied, he'll do something by the trade deadline at corner or edge or both because he's got all these picks. Green Bay, for some reason, there's something. And by the way, Green Bay is not good at corner. That's the one issue I have with Green Bay. But
they've never been because Alexander's always hurt, and they still figure it out.
Great at safety, right? Great at safety. Alexander's gone.
Great at pass rusher too.
Good pass. Yeah, well, even better now. Yeah.
But the issue with them is corner. So I just think Howie's going to be relentless, and he's going to get it right by the trade deadline.
All right. So Adam's got the Eagles winning the NFC. Andrew has the Packers beating the Eagles in the NFC Championship. I have the Lions beating the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Let's fly through the AFC a little quicker. Adam, give me your 4 division winners.
All right. I'm going to go. We'll go west to east. West.
Sure. However you want it.
Man, all offseason I'm thinking the Chargers, but now I'll stick with the Chiefs. The South, this is the biggest shoe-in, is Houston. The North.
So fast, my friend.
Really? Okay. All right. The North, the Ravens, and the Bills in the East.
So you have basically all the division winners from last year.
Yep. I just can't see anything
chalk. You went chalk.
I want to do Chargers, but with the Slater injury and issues at corner, I just can't do it.
Andrew, your division winners?
Yeah, I want to do Broncos because I'm really bullish on that team. But I'm going Chiefs, Texans, Ravens, Bills. I went chalk as well.
Okay.
You guys never learn. I went Bills, Chiefs, Jaguars, Ravens. I think Liam Cohen's going to have a really nice impact, and Travis Hunter on the Jags. I think the Texans are good. I have them in the playoffs, but there's always one team that benefits from the bad schedule, the new coach, the improvement on offense, or from a draft pick. And for me, that's going to be the Jaguars winning the AFC South. Who are your wild cards, Adam?
Wild cards: Steelers, Chargers, Broncos. Broncos. The Bengals defense is a joke. Forget it.
is.
I wish Al Golden well, but it's not his fault. There's a lack of talent.
So I did say I wanted to put the Bengals in, but I just couldn't justify it. Which means, of course, they'll probably win 15 games. Andrew, who's your wild cards?
Jags, Chargers, and Broncos.
All right.
Did he say Jags too?
He said Jags. Yeah.
Man, holy smokes. Okay. Wow. That would be a great call.
Yeah. All right. So, and by the way, you said Jags, Chargers, and Broncos?
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to surprise you guys. My wild cards are the Texans, the Titans, and the Steelers.
Wait, didn't Andrew have Denver winning the division? Or no, did you?
No, he said he wanted to.
I
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right,
I think Sean Payton's going to make a potential run for Coach of the Year if the season goes the way that I'm envisioning.
Nice.
I agree. What are the division winners again? I'm sorry. Who was it?
He had the Chiefs.
No, yours, Geoff.
Oh, mine were the Bills, Chiefs, Jags, and Ravens.
Okay. Wow. Jags.
And my wild card is the Texans, the Titans, and the Steelers.
Okay.
That's right. I said Titans. Nobody seemed to blink there, but yeah, I put the
Titans.
Whoa.
Titans?
I was wondering if anybody was going to have
I didn't hear that as a wild card. Oh my, they were so bad last season. Okay.
They got to love what they've done on the offensive line.
You love Cam Ward? Okay, obviously. Wow.
I think they've made some sneaky good moves, by the way, this offseason.
I wonder what the odds are. You got to be a wild card. They got to be like plus 3,000 at least.
Yeah. Well, there's always that one team that goes from last to first also.
Wow.
So
okay.
That's my team. Or last to wild card.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. What's the rest of your AFC playoffs? Give me your championship game and winner.
All right. Championship game. Ravens. Bills. Ravens finally get there. Come on, Lamar. This is it.
Andrew?
Bills, Chiefs. Bills get there.
Nice. Mine's Ravens, Chiefs, Ravens get there. So, all right. I have the Ravens going to the AFC champion. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Ravens. You have the Bills, Andrew. Adam, you have the – who is it?
Ravens.
So now let's get to our Super Bowl picks. Adam, based on your projections, you have Eagles versus Ravens in the Super Bowl, which is an amazing Super Bowl. Those would be my number 1 and number 2 preseason power ranking teams. Who wins?
I'm sure Baltimore hasn't forgotten how they got handled by the Eagles, beat the heck out of them physically, and they played great against them. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I love the roster. Eric DiCecco's done a great job. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Ravens beat the Eagles in your Super Bowl. Andrew, your Super Bowl would then be, I think you said Packers beat the Eagles and
Packers,
Bills Packers. That's a really fun one too.
Yeah, I think the Bills. I think the Bills push past. I think Josh Allen's good enough to upset to kind of upend them.
Finally get one.
You get the Bills finally getting one. All right. Yeah. I love our predicts because we each sort of took that team to get over the hump. My Super Bowl, based on my championship games, is Lions versus Ravens, and I have the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl. They will make a move to address that pass rush by the trade deadline. I'm sure. Again,
they need more. Yeah,
and they need help at corner too.
They do. Well, didn't they drafted the kid, right? What's his face?
Terry Arnold. Yeah,
Terry Arnold last year. Yep.
He's got to play better.
Yeah. All right. Let's just close it off real quick. MVP. Who's MVP?
Enough of Lamar on that. He's got enough of them.
I'm going to say Josh Allen if the Bills go as far as I'm expecting them to go. Man.
Josh Allen repeat. Okay, nice. I had Lamar, so he got grazed by Allen last year. I'm putting Lamar back. None of us really went outside the box with this one, huh?
No,
what did you take?
No. Boy, this is tough, man. I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
All right, Josh Allen. There you go. I had Liam Cohen as Coach of the Year.
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton for you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Adam?
Oh, boy. Coach of the Year.
If your Super Bowl is Ravens.
Yeah,
Eagles,
John Harbaugh. Yeah, John Harbaugh.
I figured John Harbaugh might be your guy. Awesome. Good stuff. I love doing this. That is our 2025 NFL predictions on Inside the Birds. That's going to do it for this edition of Inside the Birds. For Andrew DiCecco and Adam Caplan, I'm Geoff Mosher. And as always, we thank you for flying with us inside the Birds.